All right, testing, testing, testing. You guys out there hear me? I should make sure that this is actually going through before I start doing anything. I'll have very confused people. All right, I'm getting a yes. Someone's gonna watch the replay. Totally fine. Replay is gonna be out there for everybody. 5x5. All right, cool. Let me turn off this music and bring us into MetalMercs Demo 2. Oh yeah, and I should turn the music for this back on. Then I'll adjust this stuff. Just hit some sound levels here. Bear with me, folks. You're seeing the behind the scenes. Probably about that's good, and then pull this down a bit. Okay. If my voice is a little too quiet or the music's a little too loud, just let me know. But welcome to MetalMercs Demo 2. So today we're going to be unveiling the second house, which is the Helios Sovereignty. But there's a bunch of new features that have come into the game as well that we're going to be looking at. And so, you know, when we had the Battletech version of this game, we had all 5 houses, and we had the clans, and we had all sorts of cool stuff. And it kind of seems like we've ramped back, and now we're slowly putting it all back in. But that's a bit by design, because some of the new weapons and stuff are going to have some new features. But also, I didn't want each demo to just be like, here's a new house, here's a new house. So there are some new features, as I say, that I want to kind of show off to you guys today. So without further ado, let's just jump into the game. And if you have questions, feel free to drop them in the chat. I think I can see it as I'm playing here. I was going to set up dual monitors for this, but I just didn't get around to it. So we're going to struggle by on one monitor. But I'm pretty sure I can see the chat. So chat, let me know what's up. If you have questions, chime in. But otherwise, I'll just sort of ramble on as I normally do. Anyway, so this is Demo 2 that we're looking at right now. And from the get-go, things are pretty similar in terms of eras. The era that we're filling out with these, I'll end up gradually revealing all the houses as we add them in. So there'll be a couple more demos after this. But the 50-16 era is just sort of the starting era. These other eras are going to come after we get all the houses established. So that's coming, but this is the same era you saw in Demo 1, so no big surprises. But previously, whereas you were only able to play as a Union, now the Helios Sovereignty is open for business. So let's take a look at the Sovereignty. Wealth is power. So the Sovereignty is basically supposed to be the rich, the rich assholes of the universe. They're effective to a degree in combat, but, you know, with wealth comes nepotism, comes favoritism. Their specialty is really long-range weaponry, as you'll see today. So, you know, in close-range combat, they're actually, you know, they can be bested. But these are the kinds of guys that like to hang back and fire at you from the safety of extreme range and let their money do the talking. So if you watch the intro video, you got a bit of backstory on the different houses. So it's actually the Sovereignty is ruled by 2 different houses, which is sort of an interesting dynamic in and of itself. But anyway, we'll save the lore, unless you guys have questions about the lore, we'll save the lore deep dives for supplementary videos, and let's start the Sovereignty. Now let's see, let's find a cool name. Ethan Mitchell. That's like a John Smith. It's so basic. We want something. Cormac Woodgrip. That's an interesting name. Austin Miller. Evelyn Carlton. Parker Benedict. It's not a bad name. Not super sci-fi. We'll poke around a little more here. Connor Ashbluff. Stasny. Yeah, how about this one? Georgia, or actually no, we'll go Seth Shelley. Okay, Aaron Wagner. I gotta stop somewhere. Aaron Wagner, he's our dude. We'll go dude. That actually does look a bit like an Aaron Wagner. How about this? I like the sort of sci-fi sunglasses thing we got going on here for this guy. All right, accepted. And we don't want wages. And the Wretched 5 is kind of a cool. How about we'll customize this, the Wretched 9. I don't know why the Wretched 9, but sure. So in the previous demo, if you tried to play on small, it would sometimes crash. I've retuned the difficulties a bit. Obviously, since we're still in like a demo phase, the difficulties aren't perfect yet. But very easy is a little easier than it was before, and small now actually works. So things have been balanced. Basically, every starting level is a little more generous than it was before, because I realized even on very easy, the game was a little challenging. So off to the races we go. So here we are. Let's first take a little look at the map so we can get a sense of what's going on here. One new addition that people have long been asking for, and I think a fan even modded into the MetalMercs version of the game, was a difficulty rating for planets. So you can select a planet now, and you can see the average difficulty of the contracts you'll get. So this kind of gives you a sense of like where you should be headed. If you feel like, you know, you're still starting out and you're a little weak, stick to the planets that have 1 star. There'll be easier missions, and then you can work out to the harder ones as you get out there. So the way the MetalMercs map generally works is the planets closest to the center of the core are the easiest, because there's the fewest bandits and pirates and stuff, and houses don't generally fight one another right near kind of the citadel. But if you move outwards, you know, the farther away you get from the star region, the more the houses start openly fighting, and the more there's bandits and stuff coming in from outside the core, so missions get harder out here. So stay close to the center if you want easier missions. One other addition to the star map is that capital planets are depicted. It's a little hard to see, but they're depicted as the largest planet, and then planets also range in size based on their population. So you can kind of get a sense of, you know, where are more desolate planets and stuff just from a glance. So little minor things that you've added on here. But anyway, I'll stay on Lumina, which is the capital of the Helios sovereignty, just to get us going here. And let's go take a look at some mechs. Let's check out some of the mechs that they've got. The sovereignty has. So here are the mechs. So I think you start with 12 on very easy. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Yeah, 12 mechs. And they range in size. So, you know, the more or less the equivalent of like a 60 tonner all the way down to a 25 tonner if you're from Battletech. We also, by the way, have some cool new icons to represent things, largely thanks to a really talented artist named God Savant. So you'll notice these little weight icons and stuff, which are quite nice. We also have some icons down here. I don't think I talked about these too much in the previous video, but if you hover over these percentages, you now can see what they are. So the skull is the chance of hurting a pilot on hit, so damaging a pilot. This is the chance of starting a fire when you hit terrain. This is your chance of damaging a weapon if you hit internal structure, and so on. Somebody asked in the comments, this is an open source game. It is not open source. It is a game I'm making myself. It is heavily moddable. So if you're not on the Discord, sir, feel free to join the Discord. Especially over last summer, people went nuts making all sorts of mods and stuff. So you can make your own maps, you can make your own mods, you can make your own tech, you can make your own houses, you can make your own campaigns, all sorts of cool stuff. But it's not fully open source. So you couldn't take the game and sell it yourself. That part's not for grabs. But you can go and modify it to your heart's content. And I really encourage and support mods. So if you're trying to mod something, you can't figure it out, drop me a line in the Discord, and I can give you some guidance in terms of how to do things. And a lot of the game is controlled through scripts, so you can really recode a huge part of the game if you want to go in and mess with the scripts. So anyway, yeah, so there's some new icons, minor things. It doesn't affect the gameplay too much, but it's kind of nice. And So yeah, so anyway, here are the mechs. So we'll see these guys in action. We'll get to know them. We have 4 guardians. You'll notice that the sovereignty tends to rely on... So missile launchers are something that every house has access to technically, but I think only 3 of the 5 houses use them at all, and it's mostly a cost thing. So missiles are just expensive to use. So 2 of the houses don't bother with missiles, even though the tech could be used by them. But then the sovereignty has some unique weapons like the long-range high-energy cannon, which we will see in action, and I guess none of my mechs have one. Oh, no, here we go. A Mach gun. So the Mach guns are basically sort of like gauze rifles or rail guns from other games. Somebody asked in the chat, are you still using mech sprites based on Battletech mechs? So every mech model that you see here has been modified or drawn by me. So the mech models that we used in the Battletech fan game version of this were basically just mech models that somebody made for Battletech mechs. Now, you know, some of these mechs may look closer or farther away from mechs that exist in Battletech, and that's partially due to the fact that it's like there's only so many variations of like a humanoid mech you can make. But the idea is that these are supposed to be unique. And also the mech models may change further over time. They may differentiate further. But this is the working set we've got for now. Yeah, so they're all supposed to be different from Battletech mechs. The top-down sprites, if we can go over here for a second. So the top-down sprites you see here, these are the ones we were using in the Battletech version. I mean, they're pretty pixelated, so it's hard to tie them to specific Battletech mechs. But one of the reasons that I keep suggesting and encouraging people to sign up on Patreon so that, you know, we have some money flowing into this project is near the top of my to-do list with artists is to find someone who can redo a lot of these sprites. First of all, to make them a little higher quality, but second of all, to make sprites that actually reflect the actual mechs that we're trying to portray in the game. So, yeah, so that's something that I think would be cool to come along, and that may emerge in the next couple of months, just sort of depending on how many people end up, you know, signing up to help the project. Anyway, let's see here. Is there anything we actually want to do with money? I guess we don't really have much. We have 9 million. Josh Black says, had to stop by and say, wow, keep up the great job. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much. Yeah, it's been a real passion project to get it here, and I'm just glad that people enjoy it. You know, when I first made it, I didn't know if anyone would be interested in playing it, and the more I work on it, the more people seem to enjoy it, so I'm just happy for that. It's sort of become my hobby, and it's sort of something I think I'll keep working on no matter how many people discover it. But I mean, I want to see it keep growing, right? So anyway, let's hop into a contract. Let me check my notes real quick. Just wanted to see, because there are some things that have been added. But yeah, we have new mission icons, the planet difficulty, we know that. I'll show you guys the dragging and dropping soon, which is kind of cool. Range orders are cool. And let's see. Oh yeah, radar towers. So we'll have to do at least one interception mission. Oh, and the battle UI. Okay, I'm probably gonna forget some of this because it's like I'm used to the changes now. But I just wanted to refresh myself on what the changes were. So actually, this is probably a good one to start on. So there are now like very easy missions. This is a new edition. There are missions that are even easier than the easiest ones that you saw before. And here is something that is unique about the Sovereignty. On every Sovereignty mission, you can deploy as many mechs as you want, up to the 12 unit limit. That's like the maximum you can deploy for any mission. And the only limitation is how much you want to pay. So the way the Sovereignty works is their contracts tend to pay out a lot of money, But on the flip side, you have to pay for the deployment costs. So sort of the lore of that is you have to arrange the transports, you have to pay for like the technicians and all that stuff to physically deploy your mechs. The sovereignty's not going to bother with that. So they pay you well, but then it's sort of like, but you figure it out. So one of the ways this actually works gameplay-wise is you can under-deploy on certain missions, and you can over-deploy on other missions. So if you know there's a combat mission, and you won't really want to hammer the enemy, you can take a bunch of assault mechs, even if you know you're going to be fighting, like, you know, mid-sized mechs. The problem is you're going to pay a lot of extra money to do that. But if you want to, you can, right? So sort of a unique aspect of the sovereignty. So they don't negotiate deployment limits, that's just fixed, and, you know, that's what the cost is. But let's negotiate this contract a little bit. Since I am going to have to pay, I'm going to try and bump the money up a bit. You know, I'm just going to bump up everything and see what they go for. This is a very light mission, so chances are they're not going to have much wiggle room. Okay, so they're willing to pay me an extra $1 million, but I don't get anything per mission. But they bumped that up. Okay, you know, I'll take that. I'll take that gamble. Sorry, there's another comment in the chat. Did you make a movie theater like in Crescent Hawk's Inception? Not yet, but you know what? Truthfully, actually, you could probably do that with the existing engine just by adding it in the script. That kind of fun stuff is something that I would be totally happy to add in at some point, but it's sort of, as you can imagine, lower priority because there are some other sort of gameplay-focused things on my to-do list that I'm trying to get done. But yeah, that was sort of a fun element. For anyone who hasn't played the Crescent Hawk's Inception, it looked just like this. So I guess I'm a horrible stealing thief. But no, it looked like this, but you could travel around to different planets and you could go into like a movie theater and it would show you these really basic DOS animations. And it was like playing out a movie. And it was sort of just like a fun little side thing. So, yeah, that isn't not coming one day. Okay, let's head into the deployment here. So, a few other additions. Here's some icons, again, by God Savant. You know, lucky that people started funding this project. I could kick him a bit of cash, and he was also willing to just do stuff for free. To a degree. He has a job and stuff, so he's kind of like limited in what he can do. But I think being able to send him a bit of money certainly helps. So now we have like cool little icons. So this shows you that you're going to be encountering 3 lighter mechs. That's what those icons mean. Let's see. The other thing that I wanted to show you is, okay, so we need to intercept enemy forces. There's 3 lighter mechs, so we probably want some maneuverability. So actually I'm not going to bring the Protector because it doesn't have jump jets. I'll bring a Guardian, but here's something that you previously couldn't do with the engine. So previously, you know, let's say you put, you know, a dude and a mech in, and you said, okay, that's good. And then you said, you know what, actually, I kind of want to move this guy down here, and I want to move this mech somewhere else. Previously, you had to click on this, and it would say, would you like to remove units? And you say yes. They'd go back into the pool, and then you could drag them over. Well, now, you don't have to do that. You can just click on a unit and drag it around and move it around. So it may seem like a trivial feature nowadays, everything's drag and drop, but it did take a bit of coding because I never designed it to work that way. But I think it's an important feature that just smooths out some of the rough edges around, you know, the original game, just to make it more intuitive for people. So yeah. That's a fun little thing that I added in. So that'll be that's in demo too. So, okay, so we're deploying 3 units, or 4 units. And you can see that we're already paying $300,000 for this. Now, we could keep going if we wanted more units. But I'm going to kind of cut it off there because I don't want to pay more money. And so this is sort of the unique push and pull of, you know, working for the sovereignty. It's like, how much do you want to spend deploying things? So into the mission, and we got some fun new additions right off the get-go. First of all, I know intercept missions were never anyone's favorite mission, because basically the way intercept missions work is enemies are going to spawn somewhere out here, you have no idea where, and they're going to beeline it across the map and try and exit the map at certain zones. So we've got one zone over here, another zone over here, so there are 2 exit zones. I know these were a bit of a pain in the butt missions for people, because especially if enemies had light mechs, they would just run through the sector and it was hard to like have vision everywhere. And so what might end up happening is, you know, enemies would scoot right by you and you wouldn't even realize they were there. So one unique new feature, oh, there's a bit of graphical glitch here, I'll have to go look at that later. But one unique new feature is that there are now friendly radar towers on intercept missions. So these radar towers, if I unpause for just a second, you can sort of see they're sending out pulses, and they will detect enemies that pass through their sensor range. So you can see we have a good chunk of the map covered. Now the radar towers do spawn randomly, so they're not always in the exact same spot. Sometimes you have blind spots, but between the radar towers and the vision of your actual units, it's a lot easier now to cover the map and at least see where the enemies are going to go. They may still run by you, you may still not kill them, so you might still fail the mission, but you at least have that. The other new thing is that most missions now have a little mission UI in the upper right corner. And this is basically just a little area to give you some feedback or like hotkeys. So for instance, another pain in the butt for these intercept missions historically has been, where the hell are the zones that the enemies are running to, you know? Players would have to spawn, pause the game, and scroll around the map and find them. Now you've got these shortcuts. You can just click on zone 1 and it'll bring you down to zone 1. You can click on zone 2 and it'll bring you over to zone 2. So these are little shortcuts that show you important things. And you can see we have enemies escaped. This is a meter that's going to grow as more enemies escape, so we at least have some idea of whether we're failing the mission or not. So yeah, this UI stuff isn't just on... Oh, there's some enemies already. Okay, everybody head over this way. So this UI isn't just for these kinds of missions. Other kinds of missions will have them too, but that's a new feature. Another new feature is that previously, you know, when your units would select a target, or when you would manually force them to select a target like that, if you told them to engage, they would just run up to the enemy like flies to, well, you know, and they would just sort of buzz around, swarming the dudes. And that kind of close-range engagement is good if your mech has close-range weapons. But for instance, the Guardians here, they have a heavy laser and a missile launcher. So look at the range of that missile launcher. Heavy laser is a shorter range, but they don't necessarily want to go to close range. They might want to go to mid or long range. So you now have this feature right here where you can basically tell your units what kind of range to keep. And the way units interpret this is, let's say this mech only had a heavy laser, then to this mech, long range would be the longest range of the heavy laser, meaning the mech will go to the longest range it has. Mid-range is get in the middle of your weapons, and close is get right up close to the enemies. So you don't have to worry, you know, oh, I've put a bunch of medium lasers on my mech. If I select long, they're just going to stand outside of weapon range and just not do anything. They'll still actually close quite close, but they'll stay at their longest range. So that's how the close, mid, and long range works. So anyway, I'm going to give these guys mid-range orders, and I'll tell them to engage. But I'm going to sort of manually actually move them. So the range doesn't matter if they're not in engage mode. If you're manually moving them around, then that will control them. Somebody asks, how will the range work with mixed weapons? And so with mixed weapons, again, so mechs will look at, I think it's the median of their weapon ranges, and they'll try to find a range that works for most of their weapons. So suffice to say that if you have a mech with like a missile launcher and then a bunch of like machine guns, then it will probably veer towards closer ranges no matter what. But if you have mechs that tend to have mostly longer range weapons, then they'll certainly keep their range. So it's a bit of an average of the weapons you've got. So if you do want mechs that stay at farther ranges, then they should have mostly longer range weapons. So okay, let's let these guys get into battle here. Okay, we can't see them. We're gonna have to close here to get some vision. Oh, you bastards. Oh no, you bastards! Come on, missiles! Take them down! Oh my god, I think they all just got by us. Reinforcements are inbound. Yeah, okay, literally, they all got by us. And you'll see, we just failed. There were only 3 guys. We had to stop at least 50%, which is 2 of the 3. So, we didn't succeed. But... oh, and there, so here you can see the radar tower is identifying the mech, but the radar towers are literally just that. They're just radar. So we can see there is a mech. We don't know what kind it is, and we don't have vision on it. So the radar towers don't give you perfect intel, but they give you something. And they can be destroyed. So if a bunch of mechs run by this radar tower, they'll eventually shoot it down. So that can happen. Let's see if we can get at least 1 mech, because we are allowed to get salvage on these missions, even if we fail them. So for intercept missions, because the enemies are fleeing the battlefield, even if you shoot down 1 mech, but you fail the whole mission, you still get an opportunity for salvage because you destroyed a mech. So let's try. that was a very embarrassing opening mission there. Okay, so here's our salvage options. I guess I'm gonna roll the dice for a vagabond, even though my odds are low. So I have 3 tokens. So why don't I spend 3 tokens to up my chances of actually getting this? And let's see. I don't have high hopes here. Oh, we got it! Nice! Alright, you know what? We failed the mission. We didn't really get much money, but honestly, I think between our advance pay and so our advance pay paid for our deployment, and we just salvaged a mech. So I feel like that's a success. And this contract actually moved us to Haven. So we're over here. I'm going to travel back to an easier planet. Just for funsies. I'm going to go to Iridanius 4. So yeah, also the descriptions of the Helios sovereignty planets are all in here, so you can go check them out. Short form is a lot of their planets are rich in resources and lush, and again, this is like the country club dudes. Somebody asked a question in the chat of, do I have plans to throw this on GOG or Steam in the future? Absolutely. I do. It would be like a dream come true to see this game on either. We're not quite ready for that yet, so my plans for this game are to work on it for the next year, because I want to get all 5 houses done, and you know, right now in the 5016 era, you're just sort of playing around between the houses, fighting each other. A little preview where this game's going to go. In later eras, you'll be able to travel outside the core and like do adventures deeper into space, and there's going to be some cool stuff and cool powers and stuff to encounter out there. So there's going to be more to the game than just playing around in this little contained area of space. I have a lot of sort of story and campaign elements that I'd like to eventually introduce. Now, I'm not going to wait till absolutely everything is done before I look at the feasibility of something like Steam or GOG, but I think, for instance, things like the graphics. Like, truthfully, these graphics right now are basically Crescent Hawk's Inception graphics. I want to redo these. I want to pay an artist to like change these to make them more unique, more my own. The sprites of the mechs are something that I do want to change as well. And then maybe even give the models another pass. Although I feel like the models, you know, the Helios Sovereignty and the Union field mechs that I think are closest to what you might consider sort of Battletech style mechs. As you'll see with some of the other houses, their mechs look more dissimilar from what you might see in Battletech. Although at the end of the day, truthfully, this game was inspired by Battletech, so it's always going to have some Battletech in its DNA. So it's not going to look like, you know, I don't know, something totally different, basically. But yeah, anyway, that's sort of the long-term projection for this game. So once we hit a point where, you know, like if we can get enough of the graphics updated and stuff to a point where I feel like, okay, it really has come onto its own, it really does feel like its own thing, then I may seriously look at that, because I would love to see it there. I think that's the next step. So yeah. Somebody says this may be the best BattleTech-like game I've ever seen. $19.99 seems like a good price. Linux support, you're a millionaire. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Yeah. This next demo is going to have Linux. I think I threw that in the Discord earlier today. So yeah, I think also we might even have a Mac version that's not too far off. So I want to try and support as many people to play this in any way that they can. And as I've already said, you know, I'm a huge supporter of mods. I personally always love modding games, hacking them, messing around with their code. I've done that since I was a kid. I want this game to be as open for people. You know, if you play it and you're like, yeah, the MetalMercs campaign is okay, but I totally want to mod this thing into a BattleTech game or a Star Trek game or a Star Wars game, and I want to tell my own stories, I want people to be able to do that. So it's very open in terms of editing and all that stuff, but that's kind of a sidetrack. Anyway, so here's an interesting one. Guard a supply convoy. This one looks like it's going to pay me a lot. Defense of a supply depot. I almost don't want to actually support that. So here, if you're not familiar with the mission maps, if this mission is a success, we go here. If it's a failure, we go here. I almost want this mission to fail so I can go over here, because I think this would be a better mission. Escorting supply convoys is tricky, and I'm not convinced I've balanced that right yet. Although maybe it's worth trying. Okay, let me see. And the other missions here, we've got, this is intercept retreat. That's another intercept. But it actually pays a ton. Oh my god, maybe this is the way to go. And if we fail, we get combat. So that's not too bad. Let's go with this one. Let's go with this one here. Sorry, other things in the chat. Outside of the art, what is your ultimate goal for being complete? That's a really good question. I think the game... I guess it's just the eras and the campaigns and stuff, but I mean, truthfully, I've thought a lot about all sorts of different stories and stuff I could tell in this universe, and it feels like the kind of thing where even when I get the game to the point where I feel like it's complete, I might still make like campaigns for it here and there and stories. So I don't know, it's one of those things that, like, in my head, I don't know what the actual endpoint would be, but it's like I just want to keep adding features and growing it and making it better. So, yeah, good question, but I don't know if I have a good answer for it. Anyway, let's see. Okay, so let's take this mission. 1.2 million advance is pretty good too, actually, and 1.2 million per mission. Good. That's all good. I think I just want to bump up the number of salvage options and maybe this. And let's see what they do if I do this. Okay, so fewer base tokens, but more per mission and that. Okay, you know what? Done. Let's do this. You gang of bandits, you're going down. Okay, 1.2 mil. Let's go repair... patch my rigs. Wait, what am I repairing here? Cost 0. That's pretty funny. Maybe I should fix that, where like there's a minimum cost of 1K, but whatever. We're gonna run with it. It's you know, it's a bug so low on the priority list, I don't even know when I would spend the time to fix it. Oh, here's one thing I didn't mention. One of the advantages of Sovereignty mechs in general, so if you remember the Union mechs, they tend to have slightly better cooling systems than the rest of the mechs in the core. Oh, a new paint job. We could try that, but I'm not convinced painting mechs won't crash the game, so I'm going to skip it for now. I think it's fine, but I would just... every time I go to do a live stream and show off this game, we encounter a bug and it crashes. So I'll just say I haven't tested painting thoroughly, and I'll skip painting for now because I don't want to accidentally crash my game. But... yeah, so Union mechs have slightly better cooling systems. Sovereignty mechs have slightly smaller sizes. So for instance, the Guardian here, it's roughly the equivalent of a 55-ton Battletech mech, which means that for most houses, it would be 2 size units. So when you're deploying things on a contract, it would take up 2 space in the ship to deploy it. But you can see here, the Sovereignty, it's only 1.5. And you can see also some Sovereignty mechs get down to half a unit of size, which is the smallest that exists in the core. The typically 0.75 is the smallest you'll see. So one of the sort of subtle advantages of Sovereignty chassis is that they tend to be a little smaller. Also, the Sovereignty is the only other power besides the Union that fields jump jets. And jump jets are something, you know, you can we can mod mechs if we want. But the speed of a mech and its jump jets and its armor and its base, heat sinks, those are all like baked into the mech. Those can't be modified. Now you can get mods that will give you more heat reduction capacity, but you basically put them on like a weapon or piece of equipment. But you can't do anything with jump jets and stuff. So the chassis in MetalMercs are meant to be like, there's parts of them you can modify very easily, and then there's other parts that are sort of, you can't. And the idea is sort of like, you couldn't buy a Jeep and turn it into a Ferrari. There are limits to what you could do to it. You could soup up a Jeep, and you could really change it if you want, but there are certain components of a car that can't really be totally changed. And so that's kind of the idea with modding in MetalMercs. It's like, you can change parts of mechs, but you just can't change absolutely everything. Somebody asked in the comments, love all the detail and thought you've put into the game. Any plans for not just mechs, but vehicles or infantry? Absolutely. So there are NPC vehicles in the game for convoy missions already. Eventually, I'd like to really flesh out the kinds of missions that exist and maybe even add in vehicles that you might control, things like that. So that certainly may come down the line at some point. And then infantry are basically, just vehicles, just slower and weaker. So, you could do infantry in many different ways, but in MetalMercs, putting infantry style units in the game is totally possible. So you may see more of that as we go on. Right now the emphasis is mechs, so it'll stay on mechs for a little while, but people often ask about vehicles, and they're not off the table, and they are even in the game a little bit. So anyway, this mission with God Savant's new icons, we can see 7 mid-size mechs. I love these new icons. They're just great. So God Savant, by the way, let me just cancel this for a minute. I want to give credit where credit's due. He's the guy who made all of these sprites. So any sprite you see down here, he made all of these for me. And he did it back when this was, and there's more too. There's just not more stuff for sale. Like if we go, I don't know, let's go try and modify. Oh, shoot, I sold my Paladin. Well, there goes, I just lost some money there. But if we come in here, yeah, so a heavy laser, here's a light Mac gun. So you can see the sprites here. He made all these when it was a Battletech fan game, and he made them for Battletech style weapons, but a lot of them could be repurposed in different ways for MetalMercs. And he said go nuts. He said use them. He was super nice about it, which is awesome. Yeah, somebody said maybe a confirm on selling. So the game used to have a confirm on selling, but I took it out to streamline things, but then mistakes like that happened. So I can put the confirm back in. It's not there for right now, but yeah, it's... I was thinking, this is something I meant to add, but I didn't add yet. Maybe when you sell a mech, it goes into the store's pool, but the price to buy it back is exactly what you sold it for. So basically, if you sell it by accident, you can go buy it back and you'll be at a zero. Like you won't lose any money on it. That might be a way of protecting people from accidentally selling their mechs while not needing a confirmation button. So that's something that did occur to me at one point, and then I forgot to do anything about it. So anyway, all right, 7 mechs, and we're trying to intercept them. And okay, so let's go. We want some heavier mechs. So I like a group of guardians because they're pretty fast, or they're pretty maneuverable at least. And then what do I got? What else I got? Got a lamplighter that's pretty decent. Maybe I'll go some lighter mechs that have missile launchers. Maybe my plan will be to bombard the enemy with missiles. Because if I don't get in close range, it won't matter that... I'll take the warden instead of the lamplighter. If I don't get in close range, it won't really matter that my mechs are lighter, because I'll just be unleashing a huge swarm of missiles. So that's my plan, actually. Okay, so I have 8 mechs against their 7. I only need to take down 4. Let's give it a shot. I find intercept missions are a little easier. Intercept missions are a little easier when you're going up against heavier mechs because they move slower. So, like, oddly enough, intercept missions against light mechs are the hardest kinds of missions. Okay, so there's my light crew. Here's my mid crew. That's zone 1. And there's zone 2. Okay, so they're probably going to kind of come up this way. There's a chance I could try and skirt through the outset, or the outskirts. We're just going to hope that doesn't happen. Okay, let's zoom in on these guys a bit. Okay, these guys are less maneuverable, so I'll keep them over here. I'll bring these guys over here. I'm just going to keep an eye out on that radar. See when they start to show up. Oh, there they are. Oh, they are doing that. Okay. Let's bring these guys. I want line of sight on them as soon as possible. Okay, so that's 4. If I can take down these 4, then it won't matter if 3 more get by me. And they took out the radar dish. All right, well, so much for radar. Okay. The crossfire. Let's see what we're dealing with. These are like mid-range brawling mechs. Oh, 3 crossfires. All right. Everyone target that 1 crossfire and let's do it. Focus fire that baby down. Let me reinforce. Yeah, see, when it is sort of more medium-sized mechs, it is easier to deal with them. Although, oh my god, they're gonna take this guy down. Okay, let's bring the guardians in. Oh my god! Somebody got killed. Oops. Okay, we gotta focus these down, man. They're killing us. Okay, this sentry, oh my god, he's like roasting. So heat in MetalMercs works different than Battletech. There is a gameplay settings file, so if you wanted to make like a Battletech mod, you could make heat work the Battletech way. But in MetalMercs, the hotter you get, the slower you move, and eventually your mech starts melting, but you never actually shut down. You do hit a point where you move quite slow, and it takes a long time to cool down, so your mech might be doomed, because it will eventually melt, but you never actually totally incapacitate. Anyway, let's take this guy down first. So all that heat came from this guy, the Firebrand. 4 sort of flamethrower weapons. Yeah, I didn't really pay too much attention to that, and okay, we got another one. Focus this guy down. Come on, man. Go down. Oh, God. The problem is the lighter mechs are the ones that are, like, keeping pace with these guys, and they're the ones that are subsequently taking the brunt of the damage. Down. Okay, we only need to take down 1 more mech. This guy's too close to the exit, so I'm just gonna let him go. He's actually not even worth the ammo, so Let me see. I'm going to turn all my weapons off so we don't even waste the ammo. And now the question is... Oh, there are the other guys. Okay, so weapons back on. We got a crossfire, and another fire guy. I wish I could remember which had the most armor. I mean, I made the damn game. I can't remember. Okay, we're going to chance it on this guy. I think the crossfires are a little slower, too. So let's do it this way. All right, take him down, boys. Pelt them with missiles. Shit, they went in the forest. Oh, look at all those missiles! There we go. That's the sovereignty that you know and love. Just long-range bombardment. Why get up close and personal when the missiles can do the talking? All right. We're safe now. I don't know if I can actually take down another mech, but we could try. Just for the lulz. I think he's gonna make it safely. Yeah, he did. But mission accomplished. So you can see enemies escaped, but not the Mechs. So yeah, we got it. Cool. Ooh, we could. Oh yeah, but 5 tokens, right? Okay, so I think we have a couple missions after this one, so we actually should look at repairing our units a little. Luckily, we only had light mechs, but some of them got absolutely wrecked. Okay. So I can repair internals. It feels like this guy is the guy who needs it the most. Armor 34. Okay, I'm gonna use 1 token to throw some internals on this guy, keep him around. And then I guess I do need to use a little... So, the KIA. Damn. So that happens if, you know, obviously if your mechs take damage to the cockpit. And certain weapons have a higher chance of damaging pilots, but he must have taken, like, a cannon or something to the face, because I think he got, like, 1 shot almost. Okay. I guess since I repaired that, we might as well throw armor on this guy. This guy is toast. I can't repair him, so I'll just leave it be. Don't know if I'm going to repair this. I might leave this mech out of combat. The question is, do I want to repair the Warden? The Warden, I would need armor and weapon parts, so it's 2 more. I could still then salvage the Firebrand. Okay, so let's throw armor on this guy. And we'll update his weapon parts. And then we'll take a Firebrand. Yeah. Donk. Alright, and I think that's about it. We unfortunately can't salvage much else. I could spend 1 more, but I don't think there's anything that needs it. It's hard to... I'll save that extra token for, you know, future salvage. The reason, by the way, I repaired the armor instead of the internals is when mechs take... Like, the less armor a mech has, the more likely a shot is to go internal, and when they take internal hits, that's when weapons can be destroyed. So it's almost better to have a mech with full armor and low internals than full internal and no armor, because... first of all, armor usually, there's more armor points than internal points usually, but then also every hit they might lose a weapon, whereas if you have maxed out armor, the odds of getting damaged weapons are very low for quite a while, till you start to take enough damage. No, somebody asked if I'm going to include aerospace, so I'm just looking at the chat right now. That may come eventually. That one is actually, like, whereas vehicles are around the corner, aerospace may be a little ways out. Somebody said on the Discord, can you change the announcement channel to a true announce channel that allows us to follow it on other Discords? Yes, I will be honest, I didn't know you could do that. I'm what you'd call a Discord Newbie, I'll look into it. Actually, Landros, if you know how to do that and you want to send me a message on Discord, that'd be super helpful. If you don't know how, but you know it exists, that's sufficient. I can look into it. But either way, thank you. Yes, I'll look into that, because definitely letting people know when there's updates is something that I would love to do. I'm just, just don't know it. Don't know how to do. Don't know what I'm doing on Discord. Okay, our next mission is more interception. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6. So 7 again. Maybe, I guess I should bring in some heavier dudes. The light guys worked out so poorly. I mean, I guess I should bring in heavier dudes. Oh, I could even bring the firebrand I just salvaged in, although it has close range weaponry, so. Okay, let's go with, I'll bring... Okay, we can use our ability to rearrange things. Go like that, and that, and that. Bring my 2 heavier mechs. What is my final mission gonna be? Oh, it's a combat mission. Oh god. Alright. Well, we'll do our best to not get destroyed. We'll throw this guy there. Or this girl, sorry. I could bring a few extra mechs. I mean, I guess... Is there anything that I could just bring... Oh wait, I've got mechs all the way down here. An Icarus, a Vagabond, a Lamplighter. It'd cost me more money, but it's safer, so let's do it. This is the advantage of the sovereignty, right? You can, like, make a game time decision. You don't have to negotiate into your contract how much you can bring. You can just decide. It's gonna cost us, but I'd rather succeed, you know? Like... $750,000 to deploy our forces. Yeah, it's all good. You know what? Actually, do I even have enough pilots? I might run out of pilots. Let's see. Yeah, I don't have enough. You know what? I think the Vagabond stays home. And oh, I don't want the Messenger either. I want the Icarus. There we go, because he has a bit more armor. Okay, I think that looks good. Alright, 750,000. Alright, let's do this. I am getting 1.2 million per mission, so even though I'm deploying a lot, I'm still making stuff. Just assuming assuming the mission is actually a success. Which is, it's an assumption. We'll see what happens. Okay, so let's use our UI interface. Zone 1 is down there. Ah, they're spread out this time. Alright, that's a pain. Okay, these... I guess I'll have to keep my forces spread out a little. But once the enemies spawn, I'll get a good sense of where to go. Oh, and there's no radar tower over here, sorry. Where do we have radar coverage? Oh, we're covering this side. Okay. So let me bring these guys up a bit. Actually, sorry, I'm just going to make a quick note. So there's the graphical glitch there. Bear with me a moment, guys, while I jot this down so I can fix it for the next demo. Bugs from stream. On forest map, path had a black vertical line. And when you accidentally sell a mech, make its buyback cost the same as the sale cost. That'll eliminate that. Not even really a glitch, but it's just sort of an inconvenience if you accidentally sell a mech. Okay, I don't see anyone yet. Kind of keeping an eye. Oh, there they are. Okay, I think they're going for over here. So our primary force can engage. Bring up our secondaries. Oh no, that guy's going somewhere else. Oh, okay. Okay, let's use the engage and target this, and you guys can see how my guys will engage. And bring these guys up. Oh no. They're kind of scooting by me. By the way, when you engage, notice this little red square that tells you that the engagement is active. For these guys over here, they also have a range box that shows C for close, M for mid, L for long. But if you turn them on to engage, then it will turn on. Otherwise, they're in manual control. We're going to manually control them because we gotta. Okay, luckily, I think the pathing brought the enemy down something workable for us. What's going on with these guys over here? Oh, they actually took down the target. Nice. And they're... Oh, I think they're coming to help. Okay. Yeah, because they're engage mode, so they'll, like, you know, use their own, I don't know, thought. Their own judgment. I was like, what's the word I'm looking for? You know what, actually, this, where's my firebrand thing that I was using? This guy. He's been torching this guy up, which actually slowed him down. So, actually, the flame weapons are a little handy on these, intercept missions for keeping the enemy moving slow. So that's nice. Okay, so somebody spotted another enemy. Oh, right over there. Okay, hopefully those guys engage. Let's bring these guys over. Try and have them engage in close range, and then we'll leave these guys over here. Oh, they just took them out. Okay. Engage close range. All right. Now you can watch the AI. Oh, there's a guy over here. Oh my god, there's so many enemies. Okay, you guys target him in close range. By the way, you might notice the high energy cannons firing. The long range variants have a bit of a pink hue. Okay, where are you guys going? Get over here. So they just fired there. I don't know if you noticed, or it's too hard to notice. Take him down. Take him down, boys. Oh, shoot, he might get by. Might be the only enemy that gets by us. Oh, here's one other thing. Yes. These guys have missile launchers. Or somebody does. Oh, he ran out of ammo. Missile launchers are now indirect fire weapons, meaning that this guy is behind a mountain, but these two guys are targeting this guy. So if this guy has his missile launcher ready, he can actually fire over the mountain and hit this guy by using these guys as spotters. You can only do that if the enemy is in range of your missile launcher. So like if the enemy was out of range of your missile launcher, you can't use the spotters. And you can't target any mech that is in sight of these guys. It's only the mech that these guys are targeting. So if you have a friendly unit who's targeting an enemy and you have too many forest tiles or mountains or something between you, missiles can still fire. So that's a little, it's a property unique to missiles. But yeah, damn, this guy's... Oh, he was so close to being destroyed. He escaped. Somebody asking you force fire on terrain. Currently, no. You can't. Yeah, I was pausing for a second because I know you can light terrain on fire, but I think that just happens when you miss shots. You can't force it. Okay, we've destroyed like 1, 2, 3... Oh, we're so close. We might have failed this mission, just barely. Damn it. We were 1 unit away. Alright, well we still get a little salvage, so that's something. But we didn't earn any salvage tokens, so that sucks. Can't even afford a heavy laser. I guess we could just do some repairs. I don't even know if that's worth it. Repairing the heavy laser might save me some cash. There's really nothing else super of value. Okay. This will probably save us the most money. Alright, we failed that mission. Alright, let's go to repair my units. Oh, there's also a repair all button now that you can use. I think that was in the previous demo and then it crashed when I used it on stream. Let's see. I'm just checking the chat to make sure There's nothing I've missed. Somebody asked initiative. I'm not 100% sure what that means, so if you want to clarify, feel free to. Okay. Trade some metal. We could sell some of the units we've been getting. I wonder. Guess I don't have this planet doesn't really have too much good for sale. Local band of pirates. Frontline offensive mission, then a base raid. Oh, that looks challenging. The pay is off the charts. You know, we still have not completed a sovereignty mission. But they like us. I guess we're not completing entire contracts, but we're completing the odd mission here and there, so that's enough. Let's try heading over to Lumina here and seeing what they have for sale. So bigger planets and factory planets will tend to have better mechs for sale. The Olympian. That would be a nice mech to have. Jesus, they want 10 million for a Pegasus? Oh my god. Okay, this place is overpriced. How much is a Pegasus worth to sell? Well, I guess I don't have one. Still. That is a lot of money. Here's one thing that I think I mentioned before, but hopefully is clearer now. Weapons in this game have different levels, so there can be a level 1 light laser, level 2. There are further levels, but they're not in the demos yet. But like, for instance, a level 2 light laser does a little more damage, has a little more range, a little less heat, you know, like, well, some combination of that. The higher level weapons, they have some combination of a little more damage or something like that. But anyway, long story short, when you go to buy mechs, they might have random upgrades, and you can see them here. In future, I want to make the upgrading system a little more dynamic to where you might buy a used mech. Maybe they swapped out a medium laser for a rocket launcher or something, right? So it's like mechs will go a little non-standardized, but they'll largely adhere to their stock variants with, you know, minor upgrades and stuff. But you can see these mechs have got a few weapons upgraded, whereas I think most of mine do not. They're all level 1 things. Yeah, all level 1. Actually, that is one other thing. Let me make another little note while I'm here with you guys. I feel like streaming is where I playtest the game the most. Most of the time when I'm working on it, I'm just coding. But look into opponent mechs in contracts having some upgrades so you can salvage upgraded tech. Yeah, that's something I guess I'll work into demo 3. Anyway, let's see here. What am I even trying to do? What am I trying to do in life? I guess I'm not trying to buy anything here. It's way too overpriced. Here's a thought. I know there's a factory world in Union Space, even though they're not huge fans of us. Let's see. Oh, one thing too about the map is the star map used to be randomized. You know, within reason. So every time you start it, there'd be 5 powers and the borders would be slightly different. This is now the standardized map, for now at least. The ability to randomize the map is a feature that's still in the game that I plan to use at some point for something, which I'll save for now. But in order to, for instance, arrange planets so that they had scaling difficulties, you moved farther out from the core, and to set things up like factory worlds and stuff, I came up with a set map of planets. Also, it's kind of a pain in the butt every time you started a game. You're like, okay, where's this planet? And it's like it'd be in a different location every time. So if you're trying to find a particular planet, it was more just a nuisance. So I figured the randomization of the universe was kind of cool, but what didn't actually end up being very fun. So it's not there at the moment. Anyway, heavily fortified. Let's see, a prosperous planet with a bustling economy. Advanced manufacturing. Let's give that a shot. Head over to Union Space here. See if they've got anything cool for sale. Oh, they have a Punisher. They have an ultra cannon, high energy cannon, missile launcher. Still out of our price range. All we can really afford are the crap mechs. Okay, so my plan is we really need to complete 1 or 2 sovereignty missions because they do pay very well. Also, we could just try and run a few sovereignty missions where we jack up the salvage. We don't worry so much about money and we just really try and get some salvage. I mean, here's one that looks doable. Defense of a supply depot right into elimination of recon forces. That's half a star. Yeah, that's about my speed. Or this one is just combat, intercept. I'm going to do this one. And I want lots of salvage options. And gimme. What do you say? Okay, no, I need more salvage options. You know what? You don't have to pay me. Your pay is so minuscule anyway. Advanced pay, don't worry about it. Let's see what they say. I'm going to lock in the 15 options. Having more options is usually good because then you get more opportunities to find something cool. So I like having lots of salvage options here. All right. We're up against fairly light mechs. Defense of a supply depot against 5 light mechs. So I'm actually going to, let's see, I'm going to clear this out. You can just right click, by the way, if you want to clear out a unit. So Protector, Firebrand can stay, Paladin can stay, Lamplighter can stay. And then I feel like that's good. Like I don't need, those Guardians were long range like mechs. I'll just go with this for, what did I do? Oh, I took a pilot out somehow. There we go. Okay, launch, proceed. All right, I think this is where we're gonna get to see another, another set of UI. So here, target building. So in defense and offense missions where you have to defend or destroy a building, you now have a building a health bar that you can see no matter where you are on the map, and if you click on it, it will zoom to the building. So on defense missions, I mean, you start looking at the building, so it's pretty obvious where the building is, but on missions where you had to like raid a base, it wasn't always clear where the base was, so now you can just click on target building and it will show you where you have to go. So that's kind of a nice feature. Okay, I'm gonna set these guys to engage mode at mid-range. And we'll just wait to see when enemies spawn. They're gonna be coming to us, so we don't have to go hunting. We got some friendly turrets. A light laser turret. And a Vulcan turret. That laser turret has terrible range. Oh well. It'll ping a few enemies if they get adventurous. Right, here come some enemies. So the enemies that are raiding a base will usually engage you if you try to engage them. So as long as you get between them and the base, they usually aren't going to do an end run around you. But if others sneak up behind you, that's where you can get into trouble. But I'm pretty confident in this mission. We've been doing nothing but intercept missions, but I'm pretty confident that we'll do okay on this one here. Got a slugger. Take you down. The target building I don't think has taken a single hit. Maybe it took 1 hit. Down you go. Oh, here comes another one. I like these combat missions. Intercept missions are so hard. They're easy in the sense that, like, if you don't want to lose a mech, you almost don't have to because you can really avoid combat. You're guaranteed salvage because, you know, no matter what, the enemy's fleeing the battlefield, so you can always salvage anything you happen to destroy. But, you know, if they're gatekeeping the rest of the contract and you fail it, then you won't finish the contract, so... Anyway, boom! Mission accomplished! 0 money, 4 salvage tokens, 5 experience, 3 morale. That's how we do. Ooh, we can even get a raptor if we want. I think my damage was fairly minimal. Yeah, a bit of armor damage. I don't even know if I'll bother repairing that, because I think I just have a combat mission that I'm done the contract. So let's go ahead and salvage Le Raptor. That was a guaranteed salvage. This is kind of interesting. I could get the heavy autogun and the heavy autogun bay. I think I'll just save the tokens for now. I don't have anything essential to do with it. Heavy autoguns are decent weapons, but anyway. Oh my god! A small recon force is active in your region. Yeah, you think? 3 units. I mean, I think I'm just gonna take in a squad of guardians and I'll leave everyone else at home. You guys don't even have to come to the party, man. Go have some R&R. Go visit your wife. See your kids. You know, all that other stuff. Whatever people do with life. I should hire a few more pilots too, by the way. I think I'll do that after my next mission. Alright. 4 mid-sized mechs against 3 light mechs in a straight-up fight. Good being rich. Oh, what happened? I think there might be a glitch there where you can accidentally lose a pilot by clicking proceed. I'll have to investigate that. Are Guardians this faction's version of a cookie cutter main battle tank? Sort of. Yeah, I would say they're like a common sovereignty mech. They sort of exemplify what they go for, which is like maybe slightly below average speed, but jump jets and missile launchers. So they have the biggest missile launcher, or one, you know, a 6-shot missile launcher is the biggest single missile launcher a unit can mount. That's pretty hefty for a mech its size. So missiles do 3 damage per missile, so it's up to 18 damage per shot, per salvo. But yeah, the Guardian is, you could consider almost, you know, their stereotypical battle tank. What's the other one? They have a few others, like mid-range ones that are fairly common, like the Protector and stuff, the Paladin. But yeah, Guardian is pretty iconic for the sovereignty, I'd say. These guys are kind of swarming me. Let me try and engage at long range. My units will scatter as a result. Yeah, so there's the AI taking control. You can see they're intentionally trying to space the range out. Actually, so I did tell you they'll try to engage at long range, and if the weapons are mixed, then they'll try to balance it. You can see that they're engaging at such a long range, the heavy laser doesn't even have a chance to shoot. So again, they kind of take the median weapon. Now, when they run out of ammo, if they run out of ammo for the missile launcher and then they only have a heavy laser, they'll get closer because no weapons can hit. But yeah, in any case, yeah, having them disperse like this is probably really annoying for this guy. Dang. Down you go, punk. So I think we spent like 600,000 deploying units, and we did get a couple million at the end, but we weren't making money per mission, so that does kind of suck. Do I want to do any repairs? I'm not sure yet. First, 40% chance of a slugger. So these units that are probabilistic, we can spend more tokens. So we could get up to a 70% chance. That'd be most of our tokens. Let's go for it. Oh, we got it. Okay. And then maybe I will actually... I go in, so that unit I just salvaged, there it is. I think I'm going to repair its high energy cannon because high energy cannons are actually pretty expensive to repair. So it'll save me some cash. There we go, we made 2 million. Let's go check our repair bill here. Only 200,000 for repairs. Even that slugger, eh? Yeah, I mean, I guess I got it down to just internal and armor, so it's not too expensive to repair. Oh, I want an Olympian or a Colossus. Colossus, I guess, is... I mean, I didn't think of this when I was designing. It's kind of like an oversized hunchback. It's got a massive Mech gun and then just a bunch of lasers. It's an assault class mech, though. It's a big... It's your big boy. You got the Dark Knight, Protector. So there's a Protector. That's a pretty common mech. That's like a nice kind of jack of all trades. Long-range missiles, got mid-range rockets, got a heavy laser, got some light lasers. You can kind of engage at any range, really. Oh, why am I guess my messengers are more expensive than the Icarus because the missile launchers are so pricey. We could start to sell some mechs. But I don't know if I'm ready for that yet. Enter the bar. Let's find some crew. Oh, nobody wants to be hired right now. There's a question in the chat. You said 6 is the largest missile system mech can mount. Does that mean that fortifications or specialized vehicles may integrate something larger? I guess 6 missiles is the largest single weapon system, but like you could have a mech that has 2 6-missile launchers, the same way you could have a mech that has 2 LRM-20s in Battletech. So the 6-missile launcher is like the biggest missile weapon, but you can certainly have multiples, and there do exist mechs that have... There is one mech that has 2 6-missile launchers. It was the Monarch. I mentioned it in the lore video. But you could mix and match. You could have a 4-missile and a 6-missile. You could have a bunch of 2 missiles if you wanted. So I think turrets, there are heavy turrets in the game. Some are like big missile turrets, and they, I think, have multiple 6-shot missile launchers. So, yeah. It's possible, just not with a... There's no like 8-missile launcher or 12-missile launcher. Yeah. Okay, so we have some options for lighter missions. I think the half stars are kind of where we're at, just for a couple more to try and build up here. So we could do defense and then interception, which we all know how interception goes. So what is this? Destroy a facility and then defend a facility. I like that. Kind of want money, to be honest. Let's see what happens if we do this. Okay, they're open to it. Be nice if this was higher, though. Oh, they took it. All right. You never know how negotiations are going to go, guys. Always ask for more than what you think you're going to get in life. 1, 2, 3, 4. So we got 5 light mechs and a mid-size this time. I love these icons. They're just... You know what they remind me of is Mech Commander. Just sort of like the green UI icons. Okay, so we have to... So this is an attack. We have to destroy an enemy base. So we kind of want to get in and get out. Maybe I'll take in 2 battle groups. How much money do I have? 10 million. Okay, and we're gonna get 5 million, I think, from this contract, so we can spend a bit. There is one bug in the game I didn't think about, which is what happens if you go to deploy with the sovereignty and you actually don't have enough money to pay for deployment. Right now you just can't deploy, so you have to abandon the contract. I might tweak that and do something like they'll give you 1 time to go into a mission, presuming you'll succeed, but if you fail, you have to come up with the money somehow, with like permission pay or something. Like I might sort of tweak that a little bit, but right now it's just you just abandon the contract. Anyway, okay, a slugger, a vagabond. I'm looking for fast mechs and an Icarus. Okay, so this is like a fast crew. Actually, maybe a messengers are better. Try to keep them all the same speed. 5 speed and 5 jump. It's not too bad, because what I can do is I can come in with my guardians, kind of engage from long range, draw the enemy away, run in with my light group, destroy the base, and then just GTFO. We'll see how that goes. Costs $500,000 to try this plan. Assault the base. Okay, and so here we can click target building, and it will show us this is the base we're going for. All right, so everyone come on down this way. And then I don't know where my bug out area is going to be, but we'll find that out. So with these attacking the base missions, once you attack the base, then you'll be told to retreat. Kind of stay in this rocky area to prevent the enemy from seeing me initially. Okay, let's come out with my big boys. One thing that is on the horizon, which I'll give you guys sort of the inside track on, is that some of the combat missions are now using maps that were generated using a random map generator, which is sort of built off of one a fan had worked on about a year ago, and they sort of made it available. Maybe I'm not even gonna have to do like a really strategic raid here. Maybe I just destroy this. All right, the building collapsed. Evac zone. All right, maybe I just get the heck out of here. I'll use these lighter guys to keep pace with the medium guys to sort of cover their retreat. But for the most part, I'm just gonna get out of here. Down you go. Anyway, yeah, so on the horizon is the possibility of procedurally generated maps. So I have some code that I'm playing around with that generates regions that could be used to map out cities. I have some code that can map out like mountainous and valley terrain and put forests and stuff in. So suffice to say that the game does have quite a few combat maps already, but if you do play it enough, you'll start to see repetitions. But what I would like long term is to have maybe more procedurally generated maps, because I think that would be kind of cool. So yeah, that's something that might be on the horizon. I don't know if it would make it into demo 3 or it'd be like a demo 4 or 5 feature, but I've got some code that may do it. So I'm just trying to kill this slugger so I have a chance to salvage him, and now I'll get the hell out of here. No money. They don't pay us by the mission. Our morale keeps going up though, which is nice. Alright, we could... Oh, it was a good thing I destroyed that slugger. Ooh, a high energy cannon. That's nice. And do I need to repair, guys? Not really. Not really. Okay. So here's the question. I could get a slugger, but I also want a high energy cannon. But the slugger does come with a high energy cannon. Or 50, or I could roll the dice. I could take this and this. Roll the bones, so to speak. I guess I'll take this. Oh, it even comes with a high energy cannon. Yeah, I mean, I guess it just makes more sense. And do I want to bother repairing him? Not yet. Let's see what our last mission is. Defense against 5 enemies. For simplicity, I'm just going to take the same crew in. Actually, no, I'm going to substitute one of these guys. Throw a paladin in. Bumps the cost up a bit, but he's a bit better. And maybe actually I'll throw a protector in. Yeah, it's getting a little pricey, so we'll cap it there. Oh, okay, so there definitely is like a clicking bug. I'll track that down. Pro tip, when you click launch, don't click proceed, just press enter. To avoid that bug, it'll make your life simpler. Alright, defend the target. Here we go. So here you can see a light missile turret. It has 2 separate 2-shot missile launchers. It could have 1 4-shot, but it happens to have 2. So you can mix and match the different missile launchers to get bigger ones if you want. Or more missiles, I guess. I'll set these guys onto engage mode. And I'll set these guys into engage as well, but at mid-range. And we'll see what happens. Missile turret. It's nice having missile turrets because they'll basically fire even without the line of sight. Enemy reinforcements inbound. Somebody's toasting me. The warden's getting a little toasty there. Alright. Pretty sure we got a lock on this one. One vagabond. Clunk. 0K almost looks like okay. Like mission pay? Okay. Alright, 5 tokens, but nothing exciting. No mechs at all. So I guess I'll repair some weapons to save me some cash. Okay, anything else? No. Okay, and then anything I want to do here? I guess maybe I'll just salvage some lasers. I don't know. That and Rocket Bay is always good. All right, we got 15 million. Starting to get there. Peril. Trade some metal. Nothing super exciting. We could finally start selling. We do have a ton of mechs, so let me see here. I kind of like the slugger. It's actually a decent mech. I'll sell the vagabond. How about that? One vagabond. Done. Maybe I'll sell the sentry. No, it has pretty good armor. All these mechs have a purpose, you know? Maybe I'll sell the warden. Alright, you're gone, warden. I need to get some cash here. I want to buy some bigger mechs. Which means, you know what? Let's pull the trigger. Bye-bye, Ikarai. Or messengers. And I like the Raptor because it's really fast. It's a Union mech, not a Sovereignty. Sovereignty mechs don't go that fast. I want to keep that one because it's fast. It's 2 sluggers, a sentry, paladin. Okay, we have 33 million. That ain't bad. We'll hire some crew. Specialties still don't work, but I'm hoping that they will work in the next demo. So, you know, something to keep an eye out for demo 3. Did I make any bad mechs like a charger? I made mechs that all have different roles, and some are more efficiently packed than others for things like firepower. But there's no like hardcore objectively bad. But there are ones that certainly range in usefulness for certain things. So yeah, there's no charger. Although, you know, one thing I never knew about the charger is that once you work in melee hits, the charger is actually a little terrifying for light mechs because it runs pretty fast and it's an assault mech. And punching a light mech, you could just obliterate it. But with just 5 light lasers, it kind of sucks. So you have to kind of have melee rules for the charger to seem somewhat interesting. But I tried to make sure every mech was interesting, so I didn't make any that were just like, this one's trash. You know what I mean? Okay, I want to try. I'm gonna pop over to New Ramos again and see if we can find anything cool for sale. So they have a Punisher still. It's a pretty good mech, I guess. Could afford it. It's quite slow. Somebody said that they have a soft spot for the charger. Yeah, fair enough. I don't know. You know, like, again, I always thought of it as kind of a crappy mech. And then I had it in the BattleTech version of this when it was a fan game, and people were like, you know what, the Charger really does need melee, and they kind of explained to me the whole thing I just explained to you guys, and I was like, huh, I never thought of that. It's actually kind of cool, the idea of a big assault mech that is designed to punch rather than to shoot. So it kind of made me reconsider, because before I thought it was a crappy mech. The other mech I guess I kind of think of as crappy is the Rifleman, because it's just like under armored and has way too hot, has too many large lasers and stuff. Also, I kind of think of the autocannon 2 as kind of a crappy weapon. I don't know. So like the Jaeger mech doesn't excite me. And again, there's some weapons are more efficient than others, so it's not like there isn't some weapons that you might just consider objectively better than others. But I tried to make everything a little more useful, so there's no weapons that I would consider as handicapped as something like the autocannon 2. Like I think to fix the autocannon 2, just make it deal a little more damage or weigh a little less. So that's what I would do, and it's what I kind of did in MetalMercs with my versions of weapons. And then like there is a mech that's sort of Rifleman-ish, but not to the extreme the Rifleman is. So yeah, anyway. Agree or disagree, you can always mod the game and fix my fix my mistakes if you like. So I'm just looking around trying to find some cool mechs. Ooh, we got a Monarch. I do like the Monarch. It's a personal favorite of mine, which sounds very arrogant to say about my own game, but these are some heavy mechs here. We got the Lionheart. So here you go. Here's a mech that you might consider underpowered in the sense of it has a high energy cannon, a heavy laser, and 12 rockets, and that's kind of it. But it's like basically an assault class mech, right? Like it's pretty heavy. So that's few weapon systems for a mech that big. Compared to something like the Greatsword. So the light Mechs, the light Mach guns are in the direction of like an autocannon 2 or autocannon 5, but this one has 4 of them, and they just fire non-stop. So the Greatsword is actually kind of a cool mech. I do actually kind of like it. And then, as I already said, the Colossus is almost like much heavier Hunchback in a way. Didn't design it that way, but looking at it now, I'm like, yeah, I think that's kind of what it's like. So here, I want the Monarch. I kind of want the Greatsword too. So let's see what we can do. So let's buy the Monarch. And then I need to come up with 23, or no, just 20 million. 20 million. Could that be done? What would I have to part with? The Greatsword. So to get 20 mil... Oh, let's see if there's a contract that has a big advance pay. Because that could be kind of cool. That could solve some of my problems here. Okay. This is an interesting one. If we fail the first mission, then we just have to escort, but we're probably going to fail that too. But it's easy. So here's an idea. Advance pay off the charts. Let's have fulfillment be just really low, because we know that we're not going to fulfill this one. Oops. And then what happens? So what if we do this? What do you say to that? Okay. So how about we bump this up? We lock that in. When we lock... Oh, we can only lock one pay term in. Okay. Okay, this is pretty good. We'll have 18 salvage. That's tons. Okay. We're going to do this mission. I'm anticipating failure, but we're going to make money off of this. So, right now we only need like 17 million. Assault Mech Hunchback sounds pretty terrifying, TBH. I will say this. The Sovereignty doesn't even field the heaviest mechs in the core. There is a house that's coming in a demo or two that may show you some very terrifying mechs. So one of the fun things I realized, I was so hesitant to really move away from the BattleTech universe because I love it so much. But truthfully, you know, like to continue to grow this game, like if it's just a BattleTech fan game, at some point I'm going to get a letter from FASA being like, shut her down. And I didn't want to do that. So I did eventually, you know, I've moved into my own lore, my own mechs, and we're gradually trying to carve out a unique element away from BattleTech. But one thing that I realized early on that I didn't think about, but now that I'm making kind of my own universe, my own units, is that I don't have to adhere to BattleTech's rules, which is kind of fun. And so, for instance, in the BattleTech universe, mechs are 20 to 100 tons. In my universe, that's sort of a common range, like that sort of size of mech. I mean, the mechs weigh 10 times more in my universe than the BattleTech universe, but that's just for density issues. But anyway, but then I realized, hey, like I could inject some real flavor into houses by having some houses that go beyond the 100-ton limit and some that don't even hit it. So it's like they're, you know, 20 to 100 tons is about normal-ish for a range of mechs that you'll see in MetalMercs, but not every house adheres to that. And also, as we've already seen, different houses have different unique tech, and that's going to continue. So it's not like they're going to be totally different units, but there will be some, you know, houses will differ around the edges of what is possible in mech design. So, and hopefully that comes across as fun, you know, when you guys actually get a chance to try it. But yeah. Anyway, I guess, too, since I'm on the topic, the reason the Union and the Sovereignty are the first two houses being revealed is they're the most BattleTech-like houses. And I think, as I've already said, the other houses are going to feature some cool things that are a little more different, although still not, you know, we're not going to get into, like, mechs that teleport and, you know, like really Star Trek-y sci-fi. It'll stay BattleTech in its DNA, but there will be some stuff down the pipeline that I think is kind of cool. Anyway, okay, we need 17 mil. Here's my thoughts. We'll depart with the Sentry. And then I think we could depart with the Paladin. We're getting there. But then I think we'll dump the lamp. No, wait, not the Lamplighter. Or the Lamplighter? Vector, Firebrand. Maybe the Firebrand. Yeah, we're going to dump the Firebrand. Boom, we did it. All right, great sword. Get over here. So we got two, like, basically assault class mechs now. The great sword, I think, is a fun mech. Not to toot my own horn or anything, but... All right. Somebody asked, House totally not Steiner. You know what's funny is, so in some ways you could consider the Helios Sovereignty here House Steiner. You know, they're kind of like the rich guys. You know, they're the house that might take an assault lance in for a recon mission, you know. So in some ways the Helios Sovereignty is the Steiner house, the Steinerish house, but there is another house that tends to field heavy mechs generally, and so you could kind of think of them as Steiner, but actually in my universe they're the poorest house, and there's more lore to go along with why that works, and they have some tech that is very not Steiner. So I don't know, like if you want to think about it, you could think House Steiner literally got split and you have the rich and the poor, but again, in different ways, but yeah. We'll call them House Totally Not Steiner for today. Somebody else says in the or in the chat, stealth mechs for infiltration style missions. Yes, so there may be mechs that can mask their radar signature. There is a special house or power that may have those. And so that might be something that, for instance, you encounter outside of the core in the kinds of missions or in the era where you leave the core. But beyond mechs that may be able to mask their radar signature and be a little more stealthy, there may be more infiltration style missions down the line. That's one kind of mission we don't really have right now. You intercept enemy forces, but you never have to sort of elude enemy forces. just because it's a harder mission to design the illusion side and make it fun. But that may be coming. So anyway, we got a lot of guys here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We got 11 opponents. We got to intercept them. Well, let's bring our new big boys into the party. So this mission, I'm anticipating we will fail. Actually, let's make a group of guardians. Oops. What happened there? Where's my guardian? Gonna have a group of guardians. And then, so these guys are pretty slow. So do I have any other slowish mechs? The Protector is slow. He doesn't have jump jets. Wait, didn't I sell? Oh, wait. I'm confusing the Lamplighter with the Firebrand. It's like, didn't I sell the Lamplighter? But I did not. Okay, 800,000. And we get 1.9 million per mission. So that's a fair trade. And we don't really care if this one's a success or not, so we don't have to kill ourselves. I guess I could have even deployed fewer units, but you know, is what it is. Anyway, here's our great sword, and here's our monarch. So weapons in the MetalMercs universe have a few more properties than in the BattleTech. So weapons do have range, they do have heat, they do have ammo, all that stuff. Weapons also have a reload speed. So the reason you might want 4 light MAC guns rather than just 1 is that it will take time for them to recharge, and if you have 4, you can do like sustained non-stop fire, whereas if you only have 1, you'll only be able to fire 1 shot every couple of seconds. So the 4 light MAC guns make sense. Also, by the way, mechs are limited to 8 weapons in total in MetalMercs for both UI reasons and gameplay reasons. The gameplay reason is, even with the slowest charging weapons, if you have 8 of them, by the time you fire the first one, you know, if you had 9, you'd never get it to fire because, like, you're cycling back to the first weapon too fast. So it really, you know, you can have a bunch of auto guns. Those are like the machine guns in the MetalMercs universe. They have better range and stuff, and they're used slightly differently than BattleTech. But anyway, you can have a bunch of auto guns. But once you have more than like 3 or 4 auto guns, they're cycling so fast, you don't even need more. So in MetalMercs, you can only have 8 weapons total. So if you're trying to put on more than 8 weapons to a mech, maybe take some of your smaller weapons off and beef them up, because having more is not going to be beneficial to you. So anyway, that's just a little aside to some of the gameplay behind the scenes. By the way, I don't even know what I'm defending. Defending a spot there and there. Okay, so there's a spot down here and there's a spot there. Okay, I'm going to bring these guys over here. Enemy forces have landed. We'll see. So again, I'm expecting this mission to be a fail, but we're really just gonna snake as much salvage as we can. We negotiated really good salvage rights for this mission. Oh, there they are. Oh, we're fighting... This must be fighting sovereignty bandits, or rebels. Or did we just take a... Did we take a union contract? We might have. We're betraying our kind. Turning against them. It's okay, I gotta get my heavy dudes into position here. So these are... Oh no, they're sovereignty. Okay, I don't know, there's a small glitch here where I'm the sovereignty and I'm fighting the sovereignty, so I've turned on my own. You can see those kind of gray shots coming out of this guy. Those are the Mech shots. We'll just let them engage of their own accord. Take him down! He's getting away. More enemies incoming. You know, if I succeed in this mission, that's actually bad. Because then I have a lot more missions to go. So maybe after I kill this guy, we'll just let the rest go. Not only am I the sovereignty fighting the sovereignty, I'm also betraying the contract because I'm intentionally gonna, you know, let the enemy succeed. Okay, we didn't really get to see the Monarch really go crazy, but the Monarch is a fun mech. It's sort of like a heavy archer. So the Archer was always one of my favorite mechs in Battletech. Archer, Marauder, and Awesome. What are other cool mechs? I mean, do you need any more? You know, I mean, there's so many more. Even the Atlas is pretty awesome. But anyway, yeah, so the Monarch is sort of like a beefed up archer with jump capabilities, and it's just one of the premier, like, look at all the missiles it fires. It's just one of the premier sovereignty mechs. Okay, I am literally going to turn off their weapons because we're killing too many enemies. Sorry, don't mind us. Carry on. Nope. Didn't mean to do that. Sorry. I just took a ton of missiles. The missile launchers actually have a long range. So I was able, I upgraded the engine since it's been a Battletech fan game, and I was able to give weapons longer ranges than in the Battletech game. Anyway, enough guys are escaping. Come on, one more. Or two more. We just barely failed. Oh, I forgot. We're not going to get mission pay if we fail. Damn it. So we didn't get that 1.9 million. Oh, also nothing good to salvage. Might as well try for this thing. Waste 6 tokens. Nah, we failed. So when you fail a salvage, you only get cash back. Because you just sort of sell the scrap immediately. Okay, well at least we didn't take too much damage. Let's repair this guy's rocket launcher. Throw some armor on him. And I'll throw some armor on this guy. Okay. Do I want a heavy laser? Nah. I'd rather, I don't know. Oh my god. So when you see a plus, it means here's the enemies you're facing, plus more. And the proportions of what you're seeing are correct, so it's about half light, half medium mechs. We're almost certainly going to fail this mission. So you know what? I'm actually... I don't know if this is a cheat or what. I'm literally just going to go into the mission and abandon it, I think. Because there's no... This one's a little too hard for us right now. So we're only going to spend... We're just going to bring a single Monarch. They're going to be like, you sure? You sure you got enough there? I'm going to be like, yes, sir. We're going to abandon the mission. I think actually we don't even get salvage for doing that, so maybe I should have even stayed. Nah. Okay, I kind of screwed myself there. I think I could have abandoned the mission without even deploying, so I could have saved 175. So you know what? You try to cheat. Sometimes you cheat yourselves, guys. So we didn't. That mission wasn't actually all that good for us. We didn't really. I think we got very much out of it. Okay, we'll do a couple more missions together here, guys, but oh, look at the fulfillment on that one. There's just no way we could do a 3-star. But yeah, I'll probably stop shortly. But I don't know. What do you guys think of the game so far? Do you guys have any, like, I know you guys have been asking questions. We've been chatting, so it's quite likely you have no questions. But I don't know if you guys have any lingering questions or, you know, any other feedback about the game. From what I have heard from people, they've been liking the game. There was, when I made the announcement video, so many, you guys are so positive. It is so nice to know so many people are enjoying the game, looking forward to it. I'm really excited to continue to grow the game, and, you know, I hope you guys continue to like it. All the comments on the trailer video I put out for Demo 2 were so positive, except one. I woke up one morning, I checked my phone, and it was like, oh, a new comment. And there had been many comments. I checked it out, and it was something like, you know, Oh, what a piece of junk. So you're telling me that this isn't even Battletech based, so I'd have to mod the game to put it in? Like, why should I care about this or something? Like, it was like literally phrased like that. And I was just like, whoa, man. Like, first of all, A, who are you? B, it's a free game, man. Like, don't play it if you don't want to. But I don't know. I ended up just deleting the comment because I was like, it's just so negative and like, who cares? Like, what that one dude thought. But then I kind of wished I had actually left it and like said something to him, like nothing like super mean, but just like, you know, I guess the game's not for you, have a nice life kind of thing. But yeah, anyway, besides one guy out there who I know hates me, I think everyone else is enjoying the game, so that's good, I think, for us ultimately. Okay, here is an intercept. Wonder if we could just make some money off of this. So this is defend, attack, and then temporary harassment. It's actually really hard to complete a contract fully, you know, truthfully. Let's just do one for the monies. So, you know what? You don't even have to really do much for me. I just want money. I just want cash. Cold hard cash. You know what? I don't even want any salvage. It's not necessary. Just give me money. There we go. All right, so we got some money, and we can make 5 million if we succeed in this one. Oh, look at this guy. I'll hire you. Oh, look at this girl. I'll hire you. Okay, we got some crew. I would love to do like 1 or 2 more missions and get like an assault mech thing going on. Somebody in the chat says, are there any single missions instead of chained contracts? Oh, and somebody else said, randomly ended up here, but keep up the good work. Love anything mech. Thank you, sir. Love the positive attitude. So there are no single missions. There used to be, but what we ultimately found is that when there were single missions, salvage got a little weird, where like nobody ever considered getting armor or internal or repairs. And also it's the chained missions that sort of were most fun. So the simplest mission has 2 missions back to back, 2 chains. So there are no singles. We could always bring them back. You know, like if people were like, you know, really it'd be nice to have a couple of singles at the easiest difficulty, they could come back. For right now, they don't exist though. For right now, there's 2 missions as the smallest mission. Okay, this is intercept retreating forces. And there's 3 light mechs. As much as I want to bring the Monarch to everything, I just feel like where you're intercepting, it's better to have a mobile force. And we have to succeed in this one. There's only 3 mechs. So here's what we'll do. We'll throw some good dudes and some guardians to chase down the light mechs. And then we'll have some other dudes in these heavier mechs, and we'll just try our best to head them off at the pass. Actually, one thing I will do, maybe I'll even bring just a couple of light mechs. Maybe I'll bring the Raptor as like a spotter. There we go. Costs a little more money, but I think it's worth it. All right. Intercept the enemy. Okay, let's take a second here. Zone 1. Couldn't be further apart. Awesome. Not really, but we have good radar coverage. I'm gonna send my scout mech down there. Group 2 can stay there. Group 1 will go here. So they're kind of, the slower they are, the farther back I have them so that I can move them into position. And we'll just try and keep an eye on... Okay, there they are. Okay, so these guys are gonna come here. And these guys are gonna come here. Oh, they're trying to bypass me. All right. Over here and over here. Oh, and you should be engaging, sir. In close range. Oh man, they're so damn fast. Hopefully we have enough missiles to just take down one. Oh, they're out of range. Kill them. Oh, we got him. That was so close. Oh my god. Now, hopefully we're not terribly out of position here for the next group of units that are coming in. If they're over here, we might be screwed. One guy got past us. That raptor withdrew. Okay, enemy raptors. Oh, okay, we actually kind of are in position. Okay. Let's see what happens. Get them, everybody! Luckily, we have enough missiles that we can... The raptors are so lightly armored. Boom! Ah, we got it. All right. It's a little dicey. A little dicey. All right, not bad. Oh yeah, we have no salvage. That's right. We can't even repair if we want. Not that we really need to. So now we got elimination of patrol. So 4 enemies. We'll take them down. In the chat, somebody said, agree with Cosbot. Keep up the good work. Been following this on and off since the original BattleTech roots. Smart decision to avoid any possible FASA, C, and D once it gets more attention. Plus, since you can mod it, fans can always revert to BattleTech rules if they want. That's totally my thinking. Is, yeah, I mean, like, especially if, you know, people have asked, is this going to go on GOG or Steam one day? And I'd love to. I just want to make it a little, you know, have a bit more original art, a bit more, you know, uniqueness to it. But I don't see why it couldn't. But yeah, as someone who loves to mod games, one of the reasons you can mod is because I think it's awesome, but also it opens the door to people can do whatever they want with it. So if you want to turn this into a BattleTech fan game, go for it. The engine is there. You can mod all sorts of properties about the combat and everything, and you can really zero it in and return it to its fan game roots if you like, which I would fully support if anyone wanted to do that, you know, like, go for it, I say. Oh wait, I'm taking way too many forces. So let's see. It's gonna bring in a few big bad boys. So we'll bring in the Monarchs, the Monarch, the Greatsword. As an aside, I don't know if you guys watch the Venture Brothers, but I'm a huge fan of the Venture Brothers. And I named the Monarch because the Helios sovereignty, right? They're all about like riches and wealth, and like Monarch would be totally the name of a mech they would bring in. But I also, it's a tiny nod to the Venture Brothers too. A little Easter egg. But yeah. Anyway, Protector. Maybe I'll bring in a Lamplighter. I was gonna say I don't want anything that has focused too exclusively on missiles and long range, because I'm sure the light mechs are gonna try and swarm us. That's how the enemy does. Anyway, 500k is not too bad. Somebody in chat says, oh wait, never mind. I already read that. Oh, somebody did say something. Modding through scripting or how? Yeah, so just the way the game works is oh my god, my mind is blanking. The way the game works is it uses JSON files like JavaScript object nodes, but within the JSON files, it's basically just, I guess it's a scripting language. I don't think of it that way, but it is. And so, for instance, the entire user interface you're seeing here is all with a couple of JSON files. A lot of the properties of how heat works and all the weapons are just JSON files containing their data. The gameplay stuff about how heat works and how to hit values and stuff are calculated. It's all JSON. So if you take a look in the Discord, there's some videos I made for how to like hack it and make your own scripts. And this was back when it was a BattleTech fan game, but all that stuff still applies. So you can basically, in the game subfolders, there's a resources folder, and that's where all the key files are. And there's a scripts folder, and there's also a data folder. Within those separate two folders, you'll find all kinds of files you can poke around and look at, and you can modify all kinds of stuff. So yeah, go nuts. There's some videos in the Discord to kind of give you some hints to some things. I did a live stream a while back where it was all about how to mod things, and we went through all sorts of different data files, so you can find that as well on the channel. So yeah, anyway, that stuff is there, and it should get you started. And of course, if you have questions, drop them in the Discord. I'm always happy to help people figure out how to mod something in the game. When this was a BattleTech fan game, we had some fans go in and add in a bunch of Max Tech equipment, so like medium range missiles and all sorts of stuff like that, that I didn't put in the game originally. They added it in. We had fans who went in and created all sorts of mech variants. So in the BattleTech version of the fan game of this, it was just the standard stock models of mechs, but people wanted all the variants, so somebody made them and then just added them into the stores. So you can do that. And people did things where like you could go to the bar on planets and you could actually talk to your crew. So that was something people added. So all kinds of things can be added into the game just by editing these essentially script files. So yeah, lots of possibilities. Lots of possibilities. Okay, where's the enemy? Where? This is a huge map, and I realized I did not bring a scout. It's like, where are they? Maybe I should just post up. I kind of want to space my units out to look for them, but I'm afraid they'll get ambushed individually. By the way, oh, there it is. This is an example of a map that was procedurally generated. So you can see it's a little messier than one of the other more custom-made maps, but this is sort of version 0 of the random generator. The game doesn't generate maps live at the moment. These are pre-generated using the random algorithms, but again, in future, my hope is to be able to have procedurally generated maps that get generated on the fly, which I think would add some real replayability to the game over time. And the maps wouldn't just be terrain, they would have cities and bases and all sorts of different stuff. So yeah, a little preview of things to come. All right, here are the enemies. Now we're going to take these guys down with no problem at all, but let's watch the missiles and the Mach guns do their thing. Boom. I told my guys to space themselves out and go long range. You can press L, M, and C as shortcuts on the keyboard, by the way. Like pretty much anything you think should be a shortcut is. So if you want to go hold, you press H. If you want to engage, you press E. You know, T for target to select a specific enemy, target them down. You can just click weapons to turn them on and off. There's all sorts of other short keys if you go into the menu in the RPG section, you can like see what the shortcuts are. There's like a little whatchamacallit, help file that will explain things. Okay, guys, take that guy down. Take this guy down. What are you doing? Here's another mechanic, so if you haven't kept up too much with MetalMercs, maybe it's the first time you're looking at it. Again, there are mechanics that exist in this game that don't exist in BattleTech. So for instance, weapons can be stunned. So this weapon is stunned. It's not destroyed, it'll come back. Oh, actually, I think somebody even literally just asked about that in the chat. Whoa, great minds. So what is the stun mechanic that pops up? So this happens, it's being caused by high energy cannons. So high energy cannons are kind of like PPCs, but they're a little different in that they cause damage to enemies, they cause heat to enemies, and they have a chance of stunning weapons because they generate static fields. Certain weapons can't be stunned, so like cannons and autoguns are immune to stunning because they are just munitions, they don't use electronics. But most other weapons can be stunned, even rocket and missile launchers, because they have, guidance systems and computers that load the missiles and stuff and lock on. But when a weapon is stunned, it means it got hit. The mech got hit by a high energy cannon. The roll was successful. It stunned a weapon. This weapon will be restored after about 6 seconds. You can see it coming back online. But it's sort of like a temporary disabling. So it's not a critical hit. It's temporary, but it occurs much more often than a critical hit. So there's a higher chance of it occurring. So high energy cannons are really sort of a tech weapon. It's like they do cause a fair amount of damage, but you can find other weapons that do more damage if you're just interested in damage. But where they are useful is if you want to create a mech that is like a heat build that heats up the enemies so you can melt them and slow them down. You could mix high energy cannons and torture weapons, so torches. Also, you could create a mech that has a bunch of high energy cannons to try to like stun and incapacitate enemies and keep them like stun locked so that a lot of their weapons get stunned out. But if you're going up against a house like the Union that fields a fair amount of cannons and autoguns, the stunning strategy may not be super effective. So yeah, somebody said ion cannon. Yeah, it is basically like that. So if you've played FTL, so that's another thing. I'll totally admit some of the inspiration for some of the UI that you see in the game, like the weapons and stuff, that totally comes from FTL. It's a game I loved. I played the buttload of back in the day. I've always wished it would have a real sequel, but if you guys don't know, there's an FTL Captain's Edition, which is a mod for the game that makes it infinite and adds all sorts of other unique weapons and stuff. So FTL has definitely inspired things like the user interface for the weapons, but then also, you know, like the idea of stunning weapons. That's, you know, I'll admit it came from FTL. So yeah, ion cannon kind of weapon. Anyway, okay, we got one more mission. Enemy forces are retreating. I need to intercept and destroy them. There are 6 of them. So I think I'm going to bring the whole kit and caboodle on this one because I really am so close to that 5 million payout. I don't want to lose it. And so I'm just going to bring everything I got. That means the biggest, heaviest, nastiest mechs. Sounds gross. The nastiest mechs. The biggest, heaviest mechs I got. I'm gonna bring them all. No Joy, that's a cool name. Angela No Joy Wagner. Phantom. Who else? Johnson. I'm just bringing them totally by their ability. But yeah, eventually, like things like these specialties, like medium mechs, blasters, and rockets, will be a thing. So it's like you won't just have to look at a mech's abilities, or you could ignore the specialties. But for instance, this guy, in theory, would do a bit better in a medium mech over any other size, and he would have an advantage for firing blasters and rockets. Blasters are something that don't exist yet, so if you're wondering what they are, you haven't seen them, they will probably be a thing in Demo 3. But then, you know, like, here's a guy who does good with light weapons, heavy weapons, and large mechs, right? So, you know, pilots will have different specialties, and it'll be up to you to decide if you want to take advantage of them and put them in certain mechs to try and maximize their effectiveness. So it won't just be about skill, which I think will add another element of making, giving you an interesting decision to make. All right. 900,000 to do this mission, but we're going to get 5 mil if we succeed. We cannot fail. Otherwise, that's like a huge... We're like bankrupting ourselves. Okay, so let's see. Where are we protecting? Zone 1. Zone 1 and Zone 2 are very close. I love it. Okay, 1, 2, 3... Okay, I'm gonna bring group 3 down here just in case the enemy's like trying to sneak through a weird way. One of these guys just engage. Oh, somebody fired. Oh, there they are. I still kind of want to leave a scout force down there. Okay, maybe I'll bring these guys over to engage, engage, and engage. All right, take him down. Everybody! Fire everything! Oh wait, don't go that far. Chase him. Oh no. He's escaping. Oh god. Kill that thing. Oh, we got it, thank god. Okay, we're firing on a bunch of stuff. Where are these other mechs? Go, 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 go! Kill that thing! There we go, jeez. I swear on intercept missions against light mechs, you need like a whole cadre of like assault and heavy mechs to take them down in time. Otherwise they just run right by you. I think we got this though. We have so much firepower, it's a little overwhelming, I think. Boom. There we go. Oh, we took down, and not a single one escaped us, so that was pretty sweet. Crushed him. Alright. 500, or 5 million. What am I talking about? Alright, let's do one more mission together, I think. One more mission. Oh, another great sword. It'd be so fun. You know what? Let's just break the bank and get one. Here's another mech, the Lancelot. A medium Mach gun, 6 missile launcher, and then lasers. That's a pretty decent looking mech. Here's the Excalibur. Medium Mach, light Mach, lasers and rockets, so an interesting mix of weapons there. But I mean, they're so close. I mean, might as well just buy a greatsword, I say. I mean, the medium Mach does more damage, but maybe the Excalibur is a better deal, actually. 184 armor versus, well, 264. I mean, that's a beast. Okay, let's see if there's a mission we could take. Let's try a heavier mission. We've done all these like light missions. I mean, it takes a while in this game to build up till you have a big enough force you can take the hardest missions, but here's a 2-star. This is frontline combat, and if we succeed, then we have a base raid. And if we fail, we have a fight and then a base raid. That's interesting. So sort of like, we're ending in a base raid. Are we just successful in the first battle or not? Alright, so let's do this one for cash too. We want all the money. Want that advance pay, for sure. And you know, this can go down a bit. I want this to be up. Okay, what do you say? They negotiated that in a direction I didn't want to see. Oops. I can stay at 3. I want that to be 10 though. 6. Okay. Think that's okay. 14. Alright, I will accept your mission. 10 million. Question is, can we scrounge up 12 million? I think we could probably sell... Okay, I'll sell the lamplighter. I kind of want to keep those 4 guardians. I kind of like having 4 guardians. And then I would have to sell my 2 sluggers. I could sell the Icarus. An Icarus. Monarch Greatsword. I guess I could sell the Protector. Yeah, it's kind of a jack of all trades, master of none situation. Alright, buy Protector. Okay, we can afford the Greatsword. Boom, 2 Greatswords. That's exciting. Alright, let's give it a shot. This is our last mission of the evening. It has been fun, guys. I hope you guys have been enjoying our preview. I guess I should plug Patreon. If you're not already supporting the project on Patreon, it'd mean a ton if you did. Basically, supporting on Patreon really helps make sure I have cash to pay artists and stuff, and really helps me make sure I'm improving the game. It's something I would love to do. If you are a Patreon supporter or you have done a one-time donation, you can do that through PayPal as well. You'll have access to this demo this evening. I'll put it up, both Windows and Linux. If you're not a supporter, just a fan, then the demo will go public in about a week or so. So there's about a week exclusivity for the supporters. Yeah, so I mean, if you're not a supporter but you're dying to play, you can play Demo 1, which allows you to just play as the Union, and it doesn't have all the features you've seen here tonight. But this is Demo 2, and this is, first for the supporters, but then for everyone, because everyone should get to play, right? Why not? Anyway, I just realized I don't have 12 mechs, but it's kind of too late, I guess, so let's do this. We're spending $1 million here to deploy, but we're making more than $1 million. Oops, I pulled a pilot out again. I'll have to track that bug down. That'll be a Demo 3 fix. Annoying, but not game-breaking, you know? You guys know how it is. Alright. So this is a fun kind of mission. We haven't seen one of these this evening. This is a frontline battle, and so you actually will have allied units that you're fighting alongside. So here's an Icarus and a Sentry and Pegasus, and so these are NPC-controlled units. Also, if you just click Join the Battle, it'll basically just take you to the part of the map where all your friendly units are moving towards. So kind of head in that direction, and you'll find the battle. I like that we're bringing assault mechs into a light mech, melee. It's, there's your totally not Steiner house right there, guys. It's the Sovereignty Recon Lance. I'm just going to tell my guys to engage. I'm going to try to tell them to, all stay at long range, though. Basically, I'm going to try and let the NPC units take the brunt of the attack. And I'm just going to sort of pelt the enemy with missiles and stuff. I feel like that should be... I think my mechs are heavy enough we can turn the tide of the battle without having to... I mean, it's totally the Sovereignty way, right? You stand at the edge of battle. You basically fire into the battlefield, trying not to take any direct damage. I mean, this is what would happen if a bunch of rich guys went to war, right? Like, this is how you would do it. Oh, these guys are in battle. Don't like that. Okay, I'm going to try and pull my units together. Somebody said in the chat, scouts report enemies spotted, engaging, and returning to base. They do. Yeah, so the units, I call it chatter, but when the units kill an enemy, they'll say so. And if you press Z, you'll zoom to the enemy that did the killing. When an enemy unit is spotted, they'll say that they've spotted it. You can press Z and or Z, I guess, if you're not Canadian or Australian or British. So you press Z and it will zoom to the enemy. So yeah, it's a little system. We added it at the very end of one of the last updates when it was still a Battletech fan project. But it's actually modeled after the chatter from the Crescent Hawk's Revenge, which was a Battletech game that heavily inspired this. Which I always loved the chatter in that game where they're like, Hawk Leader, this is Hawk 2, Code Red. And then you'd press the button and be like, an enemy Oscout is sighted. And so yeah, I just, and it also has a lot of functional handiness to it because it tells you kind of what's going on. So yeah, there's no mini-map in this game. That's a little by design, little intentional. So there are other ways to kind of get a sense of where the enemy is. Eventually I want to add like a little red arrow that might point off screen if enemies are fighting, just to give you a little more situational awareness. But right now you kind of have to scroll around and rely on your pilot chatter, and you can press the Z button to zoom around. When your pilots do have something to tell you, you can kind of zoom to them or the enemy that they're talking about. Oh my god, these guys are getting overwhelmed. Okay, we're gonna have to like start focus firing some of these enemies down. I think I was not taking this battle seriously. I was like, oh yeah, we're gonna crush them. But they're really doing damage here. I mean, these frontline battles are quite challenging, to be honest. They're meant to be like an overwhelming force of enemies, so there's more enemies than your forces and your friendly forces combined. It's not a 50-50 fight. They're not fielding the same number of units. So if you do not help your allies, they will all get killed, and then the enemies will turn to you. I guess all of our missiles have been used up, so let's just close ranks and do this. I set all my units to go to close range. Somebody in the chat said, in-game NPC banter is pretty nice. Yeah. I agree, sir. I agree. Definitely makes your guys feel like they have a little personality. Not a ton, because it's like canned responses, but a little. Enough to care a tiny bit if they get killed. Can't believe we had somebody KIA. We haven't even had anyone injured. So your pilots can get injured down to the point where they're like, you know, out of battle and need time to repair. That totally can happen, but KIA is very rare. That happened like our first mission, I think, too. Alright, wow, out of that entire battle, not a single mech is up for salvage. Meaning, I bet the Sovereignty kept them all for themselves, the bastards. Alright, let's take a high energy cannon. Let's take... medium laser, I guess. 2-shot missile launcher, why not? They don't even have any ammo bays. Guess some light lasers. 2, 3, alright. Oh, there's another mission! Ruh-roh. I didn't plan that salvage effectively. So this is raiding an enemy base. Alright, let's go down blazing. We're just gonna take everyone into battle. And it's do or die, man. Shoot, who did I pull out? Digger. You're back in your cockpit, Digger. You're the Monarch pilot. You ain't allowed to scuttle the mission. 1, 2, 3. Alright. It's always fun to see the mechs jumping over cliffs. So jump jets are very useful in this game. You can jump over and up cliffs and stuff. Mechs without jump jets just have to walk around like pathetic losers. Okay. I'm gonna try moving around here. So this is, so when you have to destroy a base, it's basically meant to be like a hit and run mission. I mean, you can go in and just try and take all the enemies down, but once you destroy the base, all the enemies guarding the base call reinforcements, even more enemies come, so it can be kind of a tough fight. Usually bugging out and escaping is better. But I guess since we're the Sovereignty and we can engage from long ranges, let's try and engage these guys a little. So guards are usually reluctant to come and get lured away. So that's why they're not just rushing me. Like this guy, there's a guy down there that was just sitting still. Because he was like, he's intentionally trying not to be lured away. Otherwise you could easily kite enemies out of a base with one unit. And then you could run in and destroy the base with other units. So yeah, this guy and this guy are holding their ground. There's some discipline among the enemies to not get kited away. Though it's allowing us to pick off their friends one at a time. Down they go. There's a lot of light mechs. I think we'll be okay on this one. But yeah, anyway, guys, if you do try this out tonight, I hope you enjoy it. If you do encounter bugs or anything, let me know. You can always, on the Discord, drop... we have like an area for bug reports, so please leave us a bug report. If the game ever seems to stall, it may have crashed. So there's two windows when you open the game. There's this one, and there's a console. If you tab over to the console, you'll see all kinds of like sort of behind the scenes messages, like, you know, notifications about triggers that are loading and, you know, units being set up for battles and stuff. If your game crashes, if it seems to just stall forever, tab over to that extra window and you'll probably notice it says error and that the game has crashed. If you take a screenshot of that and post it in the Discord along with instructions as to how you got to the point where it crashed, that's so helpful. But if you miss the screenshot, there's a crash report file that gets generated when the game crashes. But if you're ever sitting on a screen, you see that loading thing just taking forever, I would tab over to that console window and just see. Chances are the game has crashed and it's never going to finish loading. So just a little hot tip for you. But these days the game is fairly stable. So we did have a period when it was a BattleTech fan game where we put it through beta testing. We had beta testers who were specifically playing the game trying to crash it. Oh my god. Okay, there's a lot of units waiting for us to come over there. Let's all get together and just rush over there. Oh, my greatsword ran out of ammo. It's a bummer. They both did. Alright, I'm just gonna try and make it. Alright, run! Run, Raptor! And Icarus and all you other light mechs. Oof. Even though the assault mechs have a lot of armor, they can definitely get overwhelmed if there's too many light mechs. I'm gonna tell these assault mechs to go away first, because the medium mechs can easily escape. Look at this guy, he's like melting. He's literally melting. One. Alright, get out of here. Oh no, we're gonna lose the Guardian. Okay, one Guardian got killed. We made 1.5 million. Might as well go for this. It's our last salvage. What do we get? Does it work? The anticipation? Oh, it's going? Oh, no, it failed. All right. Well, there you have it, MetalMercs. Thank you guys for tuning in this evening. If you have any other questions or anything, you can always reach me on the Discord. And yeah, I'm going to look into making the announcement section on Discord actually announce so that it's whatchamacallit, noticeable. Do squads of NPCs form up and decide to move as a unit? Yes, so NPCs spawn as squads, and squads stick together. So, for instance, if a squad is on patrol and is patrolling around a base trying to look for you, because there are patrols that exist on those base raid missions, they will move as a unit. So you'll never see like those units just totally off by themselves, having been separated from their squad. They move together. So NPC squads do try to form up. There are certain circumstances where they will break formation. For instance, if they're just trying to chase you down, they're no longer moving in a squad formation. They're just a free-for-all, and they're running as fast as they can. But otherwise, yeah, they do kind of stick to squads. Also, when I started to attack those guards, the guards may have been trying to hold their position, but they had informed the patrols of where I was, and if the patrols were across the map, they would start beelining towards me. They would stay as a squad, but they'd start running towards me. So there's that mechanic as well. So the AI, you know, like it's not the most sophisticated AI that you can find out there, but I think for our purposes, it does pretty good. It's not the dumbest AI. And somebody else asks, radar/sensor plans outside of the deployed radar. Yes, there will be basically, so I haven't really showed this off too much in either of my live streams, but if you come in here, you can buy mechs. You can buy parts, so we could swap out weapons from mechs and put on parts that we own. You can also buy mods, and these are things that you can find things like Firestorm rockets, which turn your rocket launchers into, instead of causing damage, they cause heat, right? So you could switch that onto your mechs, give them a different kind of ammo. But you can also find things like a rangefinder, which increases the range of missile systems. Enhanced coils, which provides superior cooling, but also less damage for lasers. So you'll do 1 less damage in your lasers, but also 3 less heat for your lasers. So there's a bit of a trade-off there. You can have an overfeeder, which basically turns your cannons into the BattleTech version of like ultra auto cannons, where they fire 2 shots at once. but it generates more heat and gives you less accuracy, right? So there's this kind of mod. There are also mods that will enhance your radar and give you different kinds of abilities like that. Those are higher tech mods, and you're not going to see them in the core. But especially when we start to introduce later eras and going beyond the core, you'll find that kind of stuff. So one of the things about the core is that they're, for all intents and purposes, fairly low tech actually compared to the rest of the universe. And so even though some of the houses are more high tech than others, once you leave the core, you're going to find cooler things out there. And there's a lore reason why that's true, which eventually kind of you'll get into as the eras and the campaigns and stuff get fleshed out more. But yeah, so there are some plans for that kind of stuff. So yeah. Anyway, guys, it has been fun. Thank you for tuning in. And I will catch you in the next one. So yeah, have a good evening, guys. We'll see you later.